Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. A new channel name. So you'll notice we've rebranded to Valve Automotive. With ditched total rebuilds, I want to be a little bit more generic in the content that I bring you. It's been a harsh winter, so you've noticed the content slowed down significantly from around about October last year. As soon as the bad weather hit, we're a driveway based YouTube channel, and that's the way I want to keep it. So obviously we have restrictions of the weather to deal with. So I've looked at bringing in some alternative content over the winter, and some of you may well have consumed some of that content. So I released a new podcast, which we had the delight of having the Wimpy brothers.
Was like, for 10 grand, this is the best thing you could buy. And I thought, you know, what's the fucking dumbest thing you can buy for 10 grand?
And I've got a great list of people to follow them as the year goes on. Some of the more beady-eyed of you would have noticed as well, we've done a great video around vehicle security with Mark McCann, which was really interesting. I will link that in the description, go take a look when you get 5. And we left last year working on the Audi TT. Now that isn't a finished project yet, we've got a load more to do on that car, some really exciting stuff. I want to take this thing full track. The one thing that stopped me going for the mapping session was I need to do the cam belt, because I'm not sure when the cam belt was last done. So we need to invest some time, effort and money into doing that. We'll get that done very soon. It's also out of MOT. So I've also got a sports cat to weld into the exhaust on that. But in the first instance, my priority has become the Fiesta. Now some of you may remember back to the Copart Fiesta, we bought pure sale, which is the nastiest of the nasty. This is the gift that keeps on giving. So back in the day, we remember it had issues with a cold start. That cold start has now progressed to an all-start issue. All the smoking, rough lumpy idle, loss of power through the gears. So I pinned that down to the EGR valve. So we're going to be tackling that EGR valve next in this video. The other issue we've had with Fiesta is that it seems to let water in like a tent. It's terrible. I've sealed all around the back of the car. Again, I'll show you clips of what we've done to seal this, but it's still leaking. So I'm at my wit's end as to where the water could be coming in. I'm starting to think might be one of the further up roof seams maybe that have split, or maybe it's a window that's letting the water in. I'm really finding it hard to get to where it's coming in. But I've bought and I've invested in a scope camera, so that will help us on that journey. So anyway, enough talking, let's crack on and get this thing done. So the dreaded Fiesta Mark 7 1.6 TDCi. This was the car that I bought my daughter, and she's used it over the last 12 months, but it's always had a really bad cold start issue. Go out. You see that, look, chug, watch the revs. It's really struggling, it's fighting, it's hunting. And it starts to even out. Just plumes of smoke, rough idle for about 3 or 4 minutes. So initially I thought it was glow plugs, but checked them out, didn't seem to be the issue. Now we think it's the EGR valve which is maybe stuck open. So the EGR valve is down the back here. So to start off with, I need to drop the window wipers off, drop the scuttle panel out, give us access. Then the next stage is then we've got to remove the bracket for the fuel filter, remove the fuel filter out of situ. That should give us good access then to the EGR valve. And hopefully we can get at it and get it removed. So we've got the window wipers off and the scuttle out, and the scuttle just literally clipped onto these tabs here with these clips. So they just kind of like clipped over, pushed in place to hold the scuttle. Nice and easy. Now to get this tray out, there are a couple of bolts, one down there, one the same over the other side, but there's one under the top of the headlights. You have to drop the top of the headlight out to be able to get to it. So we'll drop them out, get this panel out of the way, and then we'll take a look at removing the fuel filter. Yep, that'll do it. That's completely blocked, look. So I managed to get in there with a screwdriver and completely clear this pipe out. It's completely blocked up. I've honestly never seen one this bad before. So we've also got the EGR. You've seen one that we got off the car as well. That's not too bad. It's a little bit sooted up, but it's not what I'd call blocked. And luckily we managed to save the clip, because they are a pain in the arse for snapping, to be quite frank. So here we have in the box a new EGR. Let's unbox that and compare it to the other one. As you can see, nice and clean. The other one is exactly blocked up. It's just a little bit sooted up, but you see here they're both the same part, which is really good. So we'll get that new gasket fitted onto the vehicle and hopefully get it back up and running. Right guys, the new EGR is back in where it come from. It's not a difficult job, just a bloody awkward one, because there's not much space in which to work. Because there's a couple of bolts that hold the EGR in, which are quite long, and you have to remove a few pipes to get them out. There's a retaining bolt there that holds the EGR pipe at actual self, and that obviously bolts into the top of the engine there. Now we have had a casualty, as you can see down the back here now. Unfortunately, I managed to knock that fuel pipe off, which is it's the low pressure side of the high pressure pump. And this is the connector that's come off, so I've ordered one of them. I'm going to have to do a bit of a temporary bodge for now, but as soon as that part comes, I will then refit that and make it all good again. And it is the next day. Unfortunately, we had a massive downpour and the engine being open to the elements, everything got absolutely soaking. I took the opportunity to get some snow foam on the engine and get it as clean as I could, including cleaning out all the gullies and all the drains under the scuttle panel. So there's one here and there's one over here. Now I managed to get a temporary repair on the fuel line. As you can see, that part's on order, but that will hold for now. I've managed to pressurise the fuel pump and check for leaks, and it all seems to be good at the moment. So fingers crossed it doesn't blow up as soon as I try and start it. I managed to get the battery back in, although I need to try and find the 2 bolts that fix the battery in. I've put them somewhere, no doubt it's somewhere safe, but I will find them and get that secured back down as it was. Let's just clip this back in here before we forget. It's one of the vacuum lines out of the way. So I think we're about at the point now where we can try and start her. Let's just cross everything we've got and hope it doesn't go up in flames. Okay, we're in. Let's go for our first start. Bit of feedback on the LEDs. Okay, I expect it to be a bit rough to start off with because it's just pulling all the fuel through the lines and stuff. I know what we're looking at. Smoke wise, but let's give it a bit of a... So the idle seems to be settling down a little. It's a little bit lumpy. So I actually think in this instance it's just that the car's that carboned up, it's built that much carbon in the system over time. I think it just needs to go for a good solid run. If that doesn't work, I don't know, maybe I'm going to have to book it in for a carbon clean. So if anybody's local to me that does a carbon cleaning, hit me up on Instagram. Because it's bank holiday and waiting for an MOT slot, let's take a look at the water leak. That side and that side. If we check the videos that we've done before, you'll remember that we sealed up all these roof seams all around here with some sealant. And that worked for that side, that stopped the water coming in, but this side, still wet. So what we're going to do this time is peel back this roof rail and just inspect these welds in here, which seem to be okay, to be honest with you. Don't look to be split at all. That's another common fault on these, that these roof welds actually split. That looks okay, but we need to reseal this back down anyway, so we'll put some automatic sealant in there, about 6 inches back. We should make sure there's no water coming in that way. The other suspect is the seal on the back of the light. Now what we're going to do is, I've got a Sharpie, and we're going to mark out the outline of where the rubber sits on the back of the light. We're going to give this a good clean. We're going to put some sealant around, let it go off so it provides another bit of rubber seal to the light itself. And then we're going to put some sealant on each of these grommets here where the light pushes into, just to make sure that's sealed itself. Put some sealant around it as well. The beauty of this is we don't need to take the light out to take the bumper off, so as soon as we've done and sealed this light and the roof, we can then pop the bumper off and have a look at the vents and everything else behind to see if we can find out where the water's coming from. Guys, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please take a second to do that now. There's a large number of people that haven't subscribed that keep going back and watching the videos. So just do it now, and if you like the video, give it a like too. So seal around all of the little grommets and stuff around here, so they're a bit warm, poorly sealed, just to make sure that no water ingresses through there. And obviously once we've got a nice seal around there, make sure no water passes past the light and goes in via these holes here. Now, so the other thing we noticed when inspecting the light is the actual sealant here around the rubber. Seal for the light had come away, so that's not going to help things. So any water from above can get in via these holes. So we're going to clean all this off, still nice and gooey. Clean all the rubber gasket up and reseal that with some automotive sealant when we refit the light. So there we are, I've just laid down a bead of automotive sealant. In this case we are using the PU18 product from Bondit, should I say. So it's waterproof, exactly what we used here. So it's got a bit of a rubbery texture to it when it dries. So that should now match the inner seal, and now we're just going to seal that onto the back of the light. So as you can see there, we've now resealed the actual seal on the light itself, again using the PU18. We'll let that set 10 minutes and then we'll get this light refitted, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that should stop any potential leaks from behind the light. And so we've also got to do that roof rail up there, which we'll do in a minute as well. So another quick update on the Fiesta Mark 7. We resealed the lights. I never recorded this as long form because I thought it wouldn't take long enough to warrant a video, but actually I was so wrong. So we resealed behind the lights, refitted all that. We've still got water coming into the boot. You can see some residue down there in the corner, the damp. So what I've done now is taken the bumper off and I've resealed everything with black mastic, including around all the vents, any holes, grommets, anything on the back that you can see that could possibly leak into the boot. So fingers crossed. Right, so we left it a couple of days, we moved it onto the grass, so I think it might have a slight diesel leak off that connection that I did. I've got the new connector now, so we can put that on, hopefully get a permanent fix on that. But let's go in and have a look and see how the water leak situation is looking. Okay, well, so far so good. Ignore that, I've just, as a wet bit of rag, but usually it pulls around about here, and definitely kind of around there. It's a little bit damp, but I think that's probably what was from there originally. There's not much, if anything, collected in there, which is a good thing. So it looks like the work that we've done on the rear lights and the rear bumper has solved the issue, hopefully, once and for all. So what I've got to do now is I'm going to get a toffee wheel, get all this crud off the lights, tidy everything up, and again burr all this back. It's too high, it's higher than what it needs to be. And once we've got it dressed up looking nice, I'm going to then respray this in the Aztec blue to match the rest of the bodywork. And same as over here as well. And all this can be knocked back, just so it's got some coverage. I was going to do it, my original intention was to brush it, as you can see there, make it look like seam sealer, but once it sets it just deforms. So guys, that's it for this video. I'm going to call it there. I'm going to try and get an MOT slot for Wednesday and give this a good run, see if we can get that EGR valve functioning correctly and the engine idling right. So I'll give you a video update next week, so whether it passes its MOT and any of the little bits that we need to button up on this one, and then we'll get started on the TT, which hopefully should be around there. So thanks for watching guys. If you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and catch you on the next one.
You can be loser, set me free. You make me win every way. You show me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the